Okay, welcome to the Wednesday 1:30 meeting, Public Works. I see you gave us agenda. I'll just let you go ahead.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Mike Moss, Public Services Director. Pretty light agenda today. We do have an executive session we're asking for at the end of our agenda items for hopefully just 10 minutes on contract negotiations if possible. Starting off with the weather event that started yesterday, actually started earlier in the week when we had wind. Had quite a bit of wind around the county. Quite a few trees were down for us. Public Works crew working with PUD to get power back up. And then continued into last night, early evening, or late evening, or about 9-10 o'clock, it started snowing in North County. I don't know about the rest of the county, what time, the timing there, but ended about 3 or 4 inches, about 500 feet up last night, but it continued to snow this morning. We didn't have any major issues till about 9 to noon today. We had lots of trees. This heavy wet snow continued from 500 feet up. Columbia Heights, top of Abernathy, top of Tower Road, the top end headquarters, they have 7-8 inches of snow right now. Continuing to snow. I just left headquarters landfill about a half hour ago. It was 30.
What's that particularly tough, difficult road near where you live? What's the name of that road?
Yeah, my driveway. There's a tree I drove around
Today.
coming down this morning, so I'm just thinking, oh man.
So it was still 32.
Chainsaw on the back of the Jeep.
Smart. Yeah, it was 32 degrees and snowing when I left headquarters landfill. So like a half hour ago. So I think they were originally talking about a high and maybe around 40, but that's now out the window. Looking at our latest forecast, it sounds like our next big snow event will be Friday into Saturday. And then it's going to be chilling cold. Some of the forecasts we get from the subscriptions we pay for is talking about single digits, possibly for overnight lows Sunday and Monday. So if not for sure in the low teens. So we're preparing as a staff to be working through the 3-day weekend, of course, try to get the plows out early, de-icing when we can, when it's not wet on the pavement. But expect all this wet out there to start freezing, maybe not tonight, but starting for sure Thursday into Friday. So some long days ahead for the Public Works team. So we're doing our best. I know we got quite a few phone calls this morning on trees. But like I said, it was later in the morning. We usually get those overnight, but it's the second round of heavy wet snow of the day that really got us. So headquarters, the main road going to the landfill was shut down for most of the morning due to 2 jackknife semis. They have now been cleared. But it's a chain up area at the bottom of the hill. Those 2 trucks were not chained at that time and caused.
Are they delivering to the landfill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have someone they were still holding up there because we were not bringing in the ones that were already empty out South Silver Lake Road just because it's so tight. So they had to hold up there at the landfill till we actually opened the road back up again. And we did have a sheriff's deputy at the bottom of the hill, keeping traffic down and at the freeway level. So should be up operational now, but it's late in the day. So we missed a lot of early morning traffic. So expect to be really busy tomorrow as long as we can get trucks up the road. A lot of times we can maybe get some not overflow, but if the gorge ever shuts down, we get some of the metro business coming our direction. And so right now I know they're talking about some tough conditions in the gorge starting this weekend or starting tomorrow, actually. So we might see some extra truck traffic up that road, even with that. So
the freeze is supposed to start what time tonight or
right now they're saying not tonight, close, 32 to 34, but it's really Thursday night and Friday going. There's the colder weather, but that's when the precip will be coming in for snow and the really cold temperatures Sunday and a Monday, Tuesday.
So no Friday off this week.
No.
Well, for Savannah.
Yeah. Yeah, we usually have protocol in the office, and it just seems to happen that these events happen on the weekends. So we forward the office phone to make sure that people get a hold of somebody live in case there's issues on the road. And usually is if we're going to plow that area or not. Today, we spent a lot of our time plowing at the higher elevations because it did not stop snowing up there. And some of the lower elevations, 500 feet below, we did not plow. But with the amount of rain we got today, those roads got cleared pretty early today on their own.
I noticed this morning that Toutle Lake schools were closed, but not Castle Rock.
Correct. Yeah, I saw that too.
South. So that was I was a little bit surprised. It's usually colder when you go north, but not this storm.
Yeah, Toutle initially was 2 hour late, about 5, and about a little after 6, they decided to pull the plug and I know Kelso, Longview, Kalama, all, I believe Woodland
They
too,
shut
all
down.
canceled
Yep.
class. I think Castle Rock might have been the only one
Mhm.
in the county that stayed open.
Yeah.
So.
One thing that we've been trying to gear up to start doing is letting the public know when certain roads are closed, obviously through social media and news, but then we also have started a GIS feature. This is our first event, really trying to have all of our supervisors use it. Before it was in a test phase, but essentially when they're notified that a road is closed, they'll GPS ping it on a map that's available to the public. So they'll let the public know which roads are closed, why they're closed. So if it's a tree down or roadway flooding or slides. And then also when those roads are open back up. And we're also going to start trying it with plowing as well. So snow plowing roads. We get a lot of questions, even though we have our specific routes from the public, like, hey, have you plowed my road? And they can go on the map as well and check that way if it's after hours.
So in your public notification, are you pushing the information or are you waiting for people to call?
No, so we're constantly updating social media because we find that social media is the first place people go. Whether it's Google and they pull it up through that way, or they just go to Facebook. But we update our Facebook page consistently throughout the day. And then also we have email chains with
this Facebook now, that's what the old people use?
all people use. We primarily use Facebook. Yes. In our community, it's very heavily used. We use a lot of the Cowlitz County news sites or weather sites. DEM shares our posts, but then we also have the email that we send all the school districts, 911, and so on. So that's the other method as we use as well.
It seems to me it's been a while since we've had kind of a storm event like this. It's mostly been rain. That's been causing most of the
Exactly right.
last couple of years.
The largest one that I can remember that was just a really active response for Facebook was the April snowstorm that we had. It was pretty unexpected.
It was late.
Pretty wild. Yeah.
Spring break last year.
Yeah. Spring break, and we had flooding too.
So when we do have weather events, particularly as it turns into snow, do you have contact with the Tacoma City Light or Pacific Corps for flood control questions, or
we get.
do they contact you,
us,
or is it goes through you guys?
Yes, we get updates on their flow and they're reducing flow or adding flow
Yep.
Mhm.
for Cowlitz River Valley and also Lewis River Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah. The county engineer actually gets text message updates from Pacific Corps for any changes.
And
So do I. I'm on that.
And
I get too.
that also automatically goes to DEM, I
Correct.
suppose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm working on text for the code on climate change, so we want to make sure we have it described correctly.
No comment. Next item we have emergency protocol. I think Savannah brought this up, put on the agenda, knowing that there's going to be some absences in the next 2 or 3 weeks with people out of town. And sometimes we need to call people in case there's an emergency or get enough votes together to declare an emergency. So I don't know if there's.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we had, that the board was aware of our protocol to declare an emergency and what circumstances we would request that. I think you guys know, but we're not allowed to delegate sandbags until there's an emergency declared. There's some other circumstances that we would need an emergency declared by the board. And if it's a Saturday night at 9 p.m., we just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page as far as who we contact and how we contact the board. And in the instance that Kelly's out, is Bailey our secondary contact? And if so, how she'll go forward in contacting the board. So.
I just kind of automatically assumed if we had questions, we just contacted the fount of all knowledge. Mike?
There is a process, yes.
Yes.
And if Bailey's number 2, because I think Kelly's the one that usually would call you guys individually or together as a group, whatever
Yes.
works, to get your guys' at least 2 votes to declare an emergency. So like I said, I know some people are out of town in the next month, and that's, usually January, February is when we have these type of events, especially if we get a lot of snow this weekend, maybe what happens next week, if we get a couple of inches of rain on top of it. So we want to just make sure we have the right contact person. If Kelly's not around, are we calling Bailey next? Is she next in line. So
Mike, I'm sorry, I did misspoke. Fount of all knowledge is Kelly, so she's double check.
She's
with
gonna
her
be
first.
gone.
she's gone. yes.
She's got our schedule on the board in there and it does
Yeah.
change periodically.
Yeah.
And I think there is actually 1 week where nobody's going to be here.
Yeah,
Yes.
In
correct.
February,
Yes.
so.
Yep. In February. Yeah.
And
That's kind of what triggered it.
You'll
that's
be
what
around?
triggered the
Conversation.
conversation. Yeah.
Ooh, you get to declare emergencies?
I think I did last time.
I think you did, yeah.
We just need two commissioners and it can be via phone. We had a test run with the landfill a few months back, Kelly and I. And so we kind of got down the process. So I just want to make sure that Bailey's prepared.
Well, Rick is, will be in the continental United States.
Yep.
I won't be.
You won't
so,
be.
yeah.
Okay, so good to know.
So we'll just need probably Bailey's
Yeah.
contact information for after hours in case emergency comes up. We won't share it with others.
They don't have board meetings. I think Dennis, Rick, Kelly, and I are all.
Okay.
Okay.
So we can just touch base offline and we'll
Figure it
figure
out.
that out.
The next time we have is the Tenant Way landfill with about the Port of Longview project. They're adding 6 rail lines. They have now reached out to us with the appraisal and a package with that. But there also is a relocation package that they're supposed to be sending us hopefully next week. Talks about relocating some of our monitoring wells at the site also. Right now, our staff is reviewing the first package. And there's a lot of easements in there, utility easements, underground easements, primary access, temporary access. I think there's like 6 folders in this in it. So our surveyor, Paul Galley, is going through those now with staff. And so is Anna Lunday, our right-of-way agent. We want to make sure it's all in order before we bring it to you guys. I just want to make sure you're aware that we've received something and hopefully in the next 30 days, everybody will give the blessing to it. And we'll come for you to you guys in executive session, show you this package. By then we'll have the relocation package also in our hands. And then we can move forward with talking about it, the purchase or the sale to the Port of Longview.
So I know that that is a permitted activity that's regulated under state law. Does ecology have to approve the changes or is it the health department?
It's also, so it went through the, it's federal, so it's went through the NEPA process, and that's been completed. Is that what you're referring to as far as ecology's role?
Or the permit.
Or
Well,
specific to
yeah, I
permitting?
mean, if we're changing like easements and wells particularly, I want to make sure that whoever
Yeah, we've been working
approves the whole program. that
With
that's all-
the agencies to make sure they're aware of these wells and we're gonna keep certain, if we move these monitoring wells, we're gonna keep the old ones in place to monitor them for a while
Mhm.
before they green light us to only use the new ones. So we've been working with ecology and also EHU about moving those wells.
Okay.
And I believe that's only 2 wells. Yeah. The rest it will stay in place. So this is off the active landfill.
Right.
So it's about, I believe, around 9 acres is what they're trying to purchase from us.
And the money we receive from the port goes where?
Closure fund for the landfill.
The closure fund,
Yeah.
against which we borrow for all kinds of purposes.
Not that
No,
one.
Not that one.
I know better.
So you'll be seeing us again in about a month and we also sent the information to Doug Jensen for review also.
Commissioner Wise.
How are you determining the price?
They gave us an appraisal and so that'll be included in the package we show you. And then we can negotiate from that appraisal.
And that's an appraisal from independent agencies? and all
Correct.
that?
Yes. And it's the same independent agency that we use for our road projects.
And then the cost that we will incur to fix whatever it is, who pays for that?
The port would be as part of the relocation package. They haven't sent us yet, but that'll be including some dollar figures in there for relocating these wells.
So who will pay for that?
The port, we may do it in-house, but the port would be paying for us to do it.
Okay, so it's the price plus the
Yes.
accommodation.
Yeah, that's what the second package is. We're waiting for. The first number they gave us is really for the land. The second one's for these relocation items that they're finalizing now. There's
Yeah.
also certain documents that we had to keep on site. We asked if our main facility is close enough to being on site. It sounds like it's not, that we actually have to keep some material on site in case we get inspected. We have to show them certain paperwork. So we'll probably put a temporary building somewhere on our side of the line over there.
Would Turwas be an adequate location? I know it's not a county facility, but it's right adjacent. Rather than building a building.
Yeah, we're just trying to get maybe a temporary, 10 by 20 pre-built shed from somewhere is what we're looking at.
Or a file cabinet in their office.
Could be.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, seems like a waste to build a structure.
I agree.
if you've got
Initially,
an
that's what we said.
office.
Like, we're only half a mile away. Like, why can't we just keep it at 1600 13th Avenue? And it's like, no, you actually have it on the premises.
Good thing they don't have that for the other closed sites, huh?
And maybe it's just because it's still active for the next 30 years.
Get an oversized geocache tube and let them find it.
Here's the coordinates. Moving on to parks, the Cougar Rest Area update. We talked about the Cougar Rest Area last week. We had a chance to talk to Pacific Core soon after that, our meeting with you guys about the 12-page document they sent to Port of Woodland wouldn't be acceptable to us. And maybe we come back with just a 1 or 2 page MOU saying that we'll clean the restrooms for the next year or two to get it going, to figure out what we should do or they should do long-term there. They were in agreement with that. We visited with Doug Jensen this morning. He's working on that interlocal with Pacific Core so we can get it going ASAP. Talked to Alyssa Dunn about doing it internally or initially in-house, but did mention to Doug this morning and Kim Bocut possibly using some tourism dollars to help fund this, since it's mainly for the tourism trade going to the south side of Mount St. Helens. Doug thought that those funds would be eligible to be utilized on that south side. And so Kim said it was in favor of that also. So that's what we're working towards. So once we get that MOU, we'll bring it to you guys and then hopefully get that going in the next few weeks and get those restrooms back open again.
So they sent you a 12-pager. You're hoping for 1.5 page, but you sent it to the lawyers. What's the office pool on the odds? 1.5.
Doug said he had a template.
We'll see what Doug
That's
comes back
Good
with.
news.
Because it's a lot's being taken out, of course, because all the stuff they're asking the port to do, we're not going to do. We're just going to clean restrooms for the most part. So not be in charge of electrical and plumbing and stormwater and all the stuff they're asking for.
We just want the facility to be available.
Exactly right.
And-
As quickly as we can, because right now it's not tourism season for them, like going to see the mountain as much as
Right.
snowmobiling, which is very
Right.
popular on the south side. And a lot of people utilize those restrooms during the snow events, and they have snow parks on the south side. So we'd like to get those open as quickly as we can.
I'm slow. So let's say the public gets access in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
Yeah.
Okay, and at that point in time, who is taking care of the grounds?
Oh, we'd probably start in-house with our parks department and then just get reimbursed for their time through the tourism dollars. That's more of a budget amendment down the road, but it'd be our parks department.
So the only thing we require from Pacific Core then is sort of permission to use the property.
Exactly, right. And the
Okay.
keys and the access to get in there, correct.
And a year from now, it'll still be, we don't need anything from Pacific Core except access to the property.
Correct.
Okay.
And we're only doing a short-term deal to start with, just to see how it works and see if there's a better opportunity or some different opportunity down the road, rather than initially their contract was, I think, for 36 years, 35 years that they sent to the Port of Woodland, and we're not signing up for 36 years. Let's just maybe try a year or two and see how it works for all parties.
Yeah, I think that's what we actually asked for,
Yeah,
even
correct.
a 6-month one,
Yeah.
just to
Just
get it going
Get it opened.
fast and
Yep.
give us a chance to digest.
Correct.
Okay.
That's what we're working towards. So Doug said that he had a template and we're getting it to hopefully in the next couple of days to us, and I'll get it over to Pacific Core for a review and get to you guys for signature after that's done. And Alyssa's on board to start, 1 or 2 days a week to start with, cleaning restrooms on the south side.
Now, it is on SR 503. I thought WashDOT usually finances rest areas for
That was actually
State
Susan
highways.
Eugenius's suggestion last week as well. So I think just to get it going, we jumped on the easiest path of least resistance, but that is definitely something that we're considering going towards as well.
It's on Pacific Core property and not WashDOT property, like
Wow.
rest areas are. So they made us say, we didn't build it. It's not ours. It's not even on our right of way. So it's yours.
Properties get traded all the time.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
We can
Thank you.
certainly ask.
Probably take you 3 to 5 years to get in agreement with them.
Probably.
Oh, I think Doug will be faster than that.
Yeah.
I hope so. All right. That's our agenda. Unless you guys have miscellaneous, and we'll go to executive.
I have one miscellaneous,
Yes.
and it's just something I want you, it's a question and it doesn't need an answer right now. It's really a question for Public Works and my colleagues. Commissioner Mortensen, I think, asked on Monday if we've heard had a lot of stuff coming in on building and planning, and it's and up to that, it had been pretty quiet, and then all of a sudden I get this deluge. And a lot of the things I get is concerning private road stuff. And I know Susan's been working on updating that, and I'm not trying to step on any toes, but she's been real busy, and building and planning is willing to take that update over, as long as they can work with you and get the standards that you want. But I don't want to, I'm just throwing out an idea to both sides here and see if something like that would be acceptable to try and move this a little faster.
Yes, we've had those discussions with building and planning, and actually I believe Wayne Nelson's actually offered to help volunteer to start the draft form. Susan still is hanging on to that. We actually talked to Susan just yesterday about the private roads, and because it was brought up again, and it usually is brought up during BPAC also. That's a group that's also pushing to get those new standards out. I know it's high on our list. She really doesn't want to give up control of that. But we'll certainly take this point back to her and say, hey, we got to get it out, because, construction season is coming up again, where this spring there'll be a lot more coming through the door on private roads, and we need to get it hammered out.
And I know she's on, she's a smart gal and has a lot of things on her plate. And I'm not trying to steal anything. I'm just trying to make life a little easier if we can, and also move this forward, because, well, you've heard me in here, a lot of the things I get is people on these private road things.
Understand completely. Yeah. We'll address it again as a team and see what we can do. We've asked a few times for how we can help her out. And I know she's got past the end of the year where we have lots of reports due that she has to review, but hopefully now she has a lot of time on her plate. She's actually mentioned that she's now dedicating a certain day or two a week, a couple hours block, that she's just working on special projects like the private road. So
Perfect. Just throwing out the question.
no, I appreciate that. Thank you.
So she'll have a draft for us, by the beginning of February?
I cannot say that for Susan. Sorry. We'll make sure she's certainly aware it's a high priority, and it has been. So we'll make sure she knows it should be near the top.
I mean, construction seasons are pretty tenuous in this
Yes.
climate,
Agree.
since apparently it's changing. And the sooner we can get the roadblocks out of the way, the legal roadblocks out of the way, the better served we are.
Thank you.
I didn't have anything else, so. Executive session, contract negotiations, 10 minutes.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
The board is extending the executive session for a period of 5 minutes until 2:10 p.m. The board is extending the executive session for a period of 5 minutes until 2:15 p.m. The board is extending the executive session for a period of 5 minutes until 2:21 p.m. The board is extending the executive session for a period of 5 minutes until 2:27 PM.
You can just kiss that driveway.
I know, I yeah, I know the snowplow being 4 feet to get out of my driveway.
Or it'll be parked in front of your driveway.
Lucky you.
Yeah, right there. Okay, we're back from executive session. No decisions were made. I don't have anything else on the agenda unless you gentlemen have something.
There are 2 comments on chat. I don't know what they are. Look at them.
I answered one from Susan.
Oh, and one from you.
She'd said they've been working with ecology to relocate the wells at the
Oh,
Tenway.
at the deal, okay.
That, I think we're clear.
Okay. With that, we will adjourn for the day. Thank you.